You mentioned quite rightly that we generally don't think to our descendants to horizons more than 100 and 200 years. 200 years, yes. There is, however, one case where we have to think of them much further. That is 50 to 100,000 years, which is the case of our nuclear waste repositories, because we know the periods and we know that we have to think of these people typically 50,000 years. And there are people now who, this is a completely open new chapter in ethics, thinking of these people who we do not know anything about them, but we have not to harm them. And presently in the US, in France, in Sweden, in Switzerland, there are scientists and engineers who work on this problem, trying to find, for example, materials which will hold typically 10,000 years or 20,000 years. So this is one problem where we really have started to think of a horizon much further, nuclear waste.
Yes, in fact, I'm aware of that, and I live in Switzerland and know that we, since a few decades, really discuss widely, also in the population, where in the deepness of, for the time being, is still our small country, we try to find ways to put these wastes. I was always pleased to see that the strategy was not, as for some of the wastes, just put it in the ocean or somewhere like that. So populations have been aware of that, but it's important, and it gives us a good example of good sustainable behavior of our populations.
I was looking a while ago at the figures of the Census Bureau in the United States.
Why don't you talk closer to the microphone?
Yeah, and they predict, well, apparently it's rather clear that first the population is aging, and second that it's going to start to decrease, like 20 or 30 years down the road. They talk about 2050 or something like that. Do you have any thoughts about that and the implications of that? The total population, yes. I mean,
well, I'm aware that, for example, in China, they try their best not to overgrow the population, but it is important that urgently, for example, we provide good daily nutrition to large populations in Africa, in the Indonesian area and so on. And at that moment, of course, education should help to keep also the propagation of human race at low level. It's not an easy task, and I know that it's a delicate theme also in for example, in the Vatican and in other religions, really to impact that, and scientific knowledge can be very helpful if it's well funded, really to help the understanding of the problem.
Okay, well, I think we're going to take just a few more questions, but we have Dr. Rao and back there, and then
okay.
I think we'll stop.
I would like to make a comment on this problem, of which obviously many of you have in their minds. According to all calculations from population scientists, there is no danger that the world population will exceed 10 billion. These population scientists are scientists and they do their science correctly. And all calculations I have seen, there is not a single one which predicts that human population will exceed 10 billion. So the opinion of the Club of Rome is outdated. We should not worry too much about too many people on planet Earth. We may have the contrary problem, that the world population will decrease too rapidly. And the example from China is not the best example to follow. Thank you.
Okay, that's an interesting topic, but we'll probably just take a, there was Professor Rao, I believe, had a question.
In the last few years, I've been very closely involved in doing a lot of things in education all over India, interior India, in the mountains and very, very remote parts. One thing that has very clearly come out is we have not been able to educate people for survival on this planet. We talk about science, mathematics, everything else, but people do not know the importance of most of the problems we are talking about here. I think we in the academy should worry much more about what is the message to mankind, particularly for the ordinary people, that starts from the children. And this is a very serious problem. They do not recognize these as problems, where the climate is only one problem. For example, diseases. As you know, India was quite free from, other than simple infectious diseases, malaria. Now India has become the capital of diabetes, heart disease. The modern way of living has increased the incidence of newer diseases, particularly cancer. India has become a very big center for cancer. So what I'm saying is, we have to make people aware of how to cope with the increasing problems of not only of climate, but many other things. There is very little effort in this, either by the academies or anyone. They only worry about how to teach science or mathematics, which I also worry about. But there's something much more we have to do for mankind through educating children. I just want to mention that.
Thank you very much, and also to Ingo. I think we are very pleased in our academy to collect information from the membership and outside, really to try to give enough impact. We are clear that we will not have all these solutions within next year, but at longer term, we have to work on that and getting additional new results from scientific knowledge and incorporate that into a feasible way to ensure sustainability of now long-term development.
Okay, I think on this session Chancellor Sanchez-Orondo has the last question. Yes.
No, I was admired for the very nice speech of the President, and I think that we need to have a statement for this plenary session, and could be the basis of the statement that say also a very strong message, statement and message, because we study many questions, but in reality, sure, all these questions arrive to propose very, very important things. Thank you.